Hello YouTube, I'm back. Finally, this is the first vlog that I've actually attempted to film in 2023, so it's been quite a while. I got very into vlogging when I was prepping, and then I did do a couple of off-season vlogs, but I think vlogging is one of those things that you need to get into the habit of it, as with everything in life, otherwise you're not consistent with it. And I've had lots of other things going on. I wanted to film this vlog though as a bit of a roundup of off-season, because it's getting very close to the time when I'm going to be starting officially prepping. I have actually been dieting, sort of done a couple of little mini cuts, and we're at a place now where, you know, I'm going to start being a bit more serious with how I've been taking things. And I wanted to kind of do this vlog because it definitely helps with my own accountability to myself when I've been vlogging in the past. So also wanted to update people, whoever is interested, and hopefully try and start growing my YouTube channel again, because that was a goal that got put to the side. I've very much been focusing on like PT clients and trying to grow business and things like that, which is all great too, but this definitely helps with all that as well. So wanted to do a very open and honest vlog to kind of wrap up my emotions of the past few months. And it's nearly been 2 years since I actually prepped and competed, which is a very long time, very long off season, and lots of things have happened since then. I think last prep, you know, it was lockdown, it was just a whole different situation, and I think I've been having a bit of a identity confusion. I won't call it crisis, because I still have known who I am all along. It's not necessarily the point where I don't know who I am anymore, but I've had highs and lows and sort of back and forths, which I didn't have last prep. I was so focused. We were in lockdown, it gave me something to focus on. I was very determined, I had a point to prove, I was coaching myself for the first ever time, and lots has changed since then. So I kind of fell out of love with bodybuilding for a number of different reasons, and I was still enjoying training. My workouts pretty much didn't change. My nutrition is always pretty good. Last year I did that intolerance test and had cut out a lot of things, so I've been sticking to that still as well. In other sad news, my air fryer died a couple of weeks ago, RIP. Things have changed in terms of my life, so I now have a boyfriend, a partner, Andy Barker, who was on one of my previous vlogs when Carly competed. He was there in the background. So we've been together for nearly a year now, and let me tell you, thinking about prepping when you've got a boyfriend and you're very happy outside of bodybuilding and competing is a whole nother ball game. Like, I was very single and very focused and wasn't interested in dating last time I was prepping, very much on my own. And to compare that to my first ever prep, I was in a relationship where my ex was actually my coach. It was very intense. The whole relationship was essentially focused around my prep. I did really well, I competed really well, but it was all consuming. Like, that was literally our life. Like, I don't remember doing much outside of prepping and bodybuilding, and that was the complete entire focus of that relationship. So I didn't want to go back to that. I was very concerned sort of heading into this year. I was wanting to originally start prepping in January, with the fact that I was very, very happy in this relationship, still am, and I didn't want to ruin that, and I kind of got a bit of anxiety about the fact about how happy I was. And Andy is amazing. I know he's so supportive, and I know when it comes to those really, really tough days, low energy days of being on prep, he's going to support me, and I don't have any sort of thoughts or issues, but more so with my own happiness. Like, last time I prep was what made me happy. Like, I didn't really have much going on outside of in my life. Obviously it was lockdown, I was focused on work and prep, and that was pretty much it. But I've really learned to enjoy off season and just enjoying life, being social and things like that. and that's been really, really important to me. So this was a concern of mine going into prep, because the closer the start of prep was coming, and I was going to start originally in January this year, the less I was wanting to do it. So what I actually did is I hired a coach. I hired Leonie West, who is a fantastic coach, just for a couple of months in off season to try and help to give me a little bit more focus. I thought, you know, maybe getting some help will spur me on, will make me more excited for the start of prep. It didn't actually turn out that way, and even though having a coach was great, you know, it was good having someone else give me that structure, and I think a lot of people do benefit from a coach. I think just because of where I was in terms of my mindset, I was a bit in out. I didn't want to fully commit to a prep and sort of hiring a coach and giving, you know, then the responsibility of coaching me when my head just wasn't in it yet. So I actually made the decision to stop coaching. I said, you know, I need to find my fire and I need to do it for myself. So I went back to coaching myself, and within a few weeks I started getting a little bit more enthusiastic. I still decided that I was basically going to change my original plan to compete in sort of early shows, have a few months off because I'm 30 in August. I wanted to have some partying, like go on holiday, do some events, enjoy that sort of thing, and then maybe go again later in the year. And I just decided I'm not going to do that. I don't feel like my heart is in it enough to want to reverse prep again. So just going to go for the one prep shows towards the end of the year from like September onwards, so then I can still diet and cut down into summer. Be nice and lean for my birthday, have some time off, a little diet break, holidays, but still be very mindful of the end goal and sort of be in a place where I'm then in shooting very close distance. And I think having this approach is going to be much more beneficial this year because of where my head is and what my goals are outside of competing, and just wanting to enjoy my life. Start doing some prep vlogs again. I think that's definitely going to help give me some focus. This year what I'm going to do, instead of doing like just a normal vlog each week, I want to have a bit more focus, make them a bit more useful, a bit more informative. So I'm going to call the series Prep Hacks, which is going to be related not only to prep but obviously dieting, and when we are doing that kind of phase to help, you know, you guys, whether you are watching this because you are prepping yourself, whether you're coaching yourself like me and you want to see how this experience is, or if you're just dieting and you want some help along the way, then hopefully this series that I'm going to do will help you on that as well. What else to catch you up with? Andy does CrossFit. Everyone in Unit 7 does CrossFit, and I've been there for like 2 years now, and it's been inevitable really that I'm slowly getting pulled into that world. I'm not quite at the level where I'm wanting to do CrossFit all the time. I will dabble in it, learn a bit of Olympic lifting. I love the fact that it's skill based. It takes a lot to learn it. It's completely different to bodybuilding. It's very, very challenging. All things which are right up my street. And Andy just knows the exact right things to say to you. He's like, oh my, you would be so good at CrossFit. You're so strong. Like, you tell me these kind of things. It's exactly the kind of things that make me want to do it. But obviously when it comes to competing, especially in bikini and CrossFit, they don't really go together. Like, I've spent the last 4 or 5 years trying to not train my waist, trying to keep it as small as possible. I have pretty much no core strength whatsoever, and obviously it's very, very core based in CrossFit. So I would need to do a lot of work before I even got to a point where I could just start entering competitions or anything with that kind of thing. So what my plan is to still learn the skills, maybe start doing a little bit more gymnastic based stuff when I'm leaner, so I'm smaller and weigh less, and it'll be much easier than trying to shift my weight right now. I'll give you guys a little bit of a physique update, so I'll do a check-in later this week, which I will pop in now for you to see. Around 63 to 64 kg. After doing a couple of cuts, I was all the way up at sort of 67, 68 at one point. So did a bit of body recomposition over the last couple of months, which is very cool and very exciting. Right, I think that fish is nearly done. I might even burn it, so I'm gonna go check that now and then we'll be back. So yeah, where were we? I'm in a very different headspace than where I was when I started my last prep. But I think I've been struggling mentally with it a little bit, but ultimately, I think if anyone out there has been feeling the same or struggling with other things, you have to just do what makes you happy at the end of the day. Have that as your, guiding light for what it is that you should do with your life. I feel more excited, more passionate when I see others achieving more. So coaching Carly to the stage last year and coaching other competitors, my PT clients, online clients, seeing them go through a transformation, whether it's body transformation or their life, or just changing little habits, feeling happier, healthier, and living their best life in a body that they love. That is my number one driving force. That is my number one driving force for everything that I do. So I do want to compete again. I want to prove to myself that I can do it again. I have obviously been training for this. This has been the focus of my training for the last 4 years. I've built some pretty good delts and pretty good glutes, so it'd be rude really not to at least give them a show off on stage again. And then after that, who knows, we'll see how I do this season. I'm definitely not going to have the pressure on myself that I did last season. I'm also just going to have a bit more fun with it, maybe try different federations, different styles of posing, just not take things as seriously as I did. I will hunker down, of course. The last 8 to 10 weeks is going to definitely be more serious, but I think the way that I'm doing it, cutting slowly into summer, I've got literally ages. Like one of my main focuses for the shows is the Naturals Regional and Naturals Pro qualifier, which I do think I stand a much better chance at being a natural athlete. It can be difficult getting on stage when some girls are dense, and it makes it a little bit more fair to be up against people that are also natural. So that's the plan. That one is until December. So yeah, got a lot of time. So May, June, July, August, November. 8 months. I think cutting, have a little break. I'm not going to be rushing to stage. I'm not going to be running myself into the ground at any point, because I'm going to be able to do it slowly, hopefully maintain a lot more muscle than if I'd have just, obviously last prep I did like a 28-week prep in the end, and most of the fat came off in the last few weeks. A lot of it obviously was done in lockdown. I wasn't really aware of how not lean I was until the first show. I was like, oh okay, and then it was just a grind from show to show, which is not what I want to do this year. So I want to get to a point where I'm lean enough and I can kind of not stage lean, but lean enough where I'm in a shooting distance, and hopefully build calories up. So I'm going to spend the next few months cutting in slowly, be in a nice condition for the summer. Yeah, it's a bit of a waffling vlog, this one. Just wanted to give a bit of an update, also put the goal out there, said it now, it's done, that is what's happening, and give myself a bit more accountability. If you are keen to follow my journey, I'm going to probably do one more vlog for off season, which will be when we go to Iceland. So we're going to Iceland on Sunday for a few days, which is going to be really exciting. Do some sightseeing, lots of steps, lots of hiking, lots of eating fish, which I love, so that's great. So I'm going to do a little vlog that'll just be like a little holiday vlog, just to try and get back into the swing of things, and then I'm going to start doing prep hacks series. Tell I've not bugged in a while, of course. If you want to follow my journey along as well, it's going to be a different one than last season. As always, expect to see some highs and lows of this journey. I am going to try and be as forthright as I can. My head's definitely not as committed to the goal as it was last time, but I'm sure sometimes you just need to get into the prep mode. That switch will go and you'll be fully ready to commit. It's going to be an exciting year. Turning 30, that's gross, don't like that. Gonna have some fun, and I've already booked a couple of festivals. It's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. Dieting and having a great time living my life. That is the goal of this year. And then end of the year, smash some preps and get back on stage again. See you on the next one.